Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And I'm not sure what I'm going to call this, but the reason I wanted to do this lesson is because just looking at a few videos on YouTube, you can see a lot of women going on YouTube to express their feelings about how bad things are right now, and in particular the Israelite woman. And the reason being is that we're seeing the beginnings of Jacob's trouble come about. And women are already beginning to feel some of the things that are going to be taking place when we get knee deep into this thing, when it's full-fledged. I just wanted to go to Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And this won't be very long. I just have a few verses that I wanted to bring out. And as you can see, the heading there says a remnant prepared, which means that this verse that I'm about to read, verse 1, it will happen before the kingdom comes to earth, before Yahweh Shai brings the kingdom of heaven down to earth. Because the remnant, it says a remnant prepared. Prepared for what? Preparing for the day of the Lord, the return of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, meaning 7 meaning a complete number. It could be any number. All right? It doesn't have to be 7. It could be less than 7. It could be more than 7. But they'll take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Meaning that they would be willing to take care of themselves, to bring their own support with them. And if this were to be happening in the kingdom, why would an Israelite woman be working? Why would an Israelite woman be concerned about preparing or taking care of herself? All right, that's just more proof that this is going to take place before the kingdom comes to earth. All right, and we're seeing the beginnings of this right now. And it says, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, meaning that they want to be married. They want to have a covering. They want to have someone who will be able to cover them in these dark times that we're entering into. It says to take away our reproach. And I just wanted to look up this word reproach. And it is H2781. I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's H2781. Cherpa. Cherpa.
And under the biblical usage, it says reproach or scorn, taunt, reproach, resting upon condition of shame or disgrace. So they don't want to, these women want to have a covering. They want to have a man to take away their shame, to take away their disgrace. All right? Under the Strong's definition, it says contumely, disgrace, the prodenta, the rebuke, reproach, or shame. All right? That's a very plain word, shame, just to take away their shame. All right? And a man of the Lord is going to be very precious in this time, because the men of the Lord are understanding what's taking place, why it's taking place, all right, and having understanding of the scriptures of the scripture, know exactly what to do, because there are a lot of things that are still a couple of things in particular to take place before the day of the Lord comes. One thing that we're hearing rumors about and we're seeing the beginnings of is war. That's going to be one reason that men are going to be precious. The men of the Lord are going to be precious. All right, a lot of men are going to just be gone. Period. They're going to be whether they be drafted or whether they already be in the military. You're going to see a lot of men who are going to be taken down, who are going to be unalived as a result of being involved in war. And as I mentioned Jacob's trouble before, all right, I'm going to go over to Daniel chapter 12. And says at the heading, it says a time of the end. All right, so we know that Jacob's trouble, we're seeing the beginnings of Jacob's trouble already. All right, we're seeing a lot of confusion going on around the world. We're seeing a lot of how do I put this? Just a lot of uprisings going on around the world. A lot of rebellion. All right, you're seeing rebelliousness not only against governments, but we're seeing a lot of people rebelling against the system. Period. All right, and as we're seeing more and more efforts to surveil individuals and surveil your every move, all right, we're seeing the death of we're seeing the dollar fall. All right, we're seeing inflation. We're seeing a number of things. You know, we're seeing people having little or no care for the life of his neighbor or the next man. All right, everybody's on a mission and just to look out for themselves, and they don't care what it is they have to do to get what they need. All right, but verse 1 I'm going to read. This is Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, Michael being the archangel of the Lord, said, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people being the Israelites. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And those that are going to be delivered that are written in the book are the elect, all right, the remnant that was spoken of when we just took a look, the remnants that's being prepared, that when we just took a look at Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. Those are going to be the ones that are going to be delivered out of Jacob's trouble. All right. And just to get a little bit more understanding on this, I wanted to go over to the book of Matthew. What should you do in this time? What will you be able to do at this time of trouble? Matthew chapter 24. And I'm going to go down to verse 17, and you can see right above 15 it says perilous times. And it says, verse 17 says, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. meaning to stop whatever it is you're doing. All right, and this is in the red letter, so this is Yahweh Shai speaking. All right, and don't think that you can run back and grab anything, because at this time, anything that you grab and anything that you find to be so precious that you feel like you need to go back and retrieve, all right, nothing is going to be able to save you at this time. All right, it says, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. So even having, in addition to the haste that you're going to find yourself in, trying to get to safety, having an infant or having little children who could slow you down, who could weigh you down, is going to be a danger to you. All right, it's going to be perilous times, and you're going to see people. You're going to see mass confusion. You're going to see people going about, like I said, in a confused state, not knowing what to do at this time. It says, verse 20, but pray ye that your flight be not in the winter or on the Sabbath day. All right, because that's just adding to the trouble, adding to the strife that's going to take place. All right, like I said, you're going to see people moving in haste. All right, and moving about, trying to get cover, trying to get somewhere safe, trying to get somewhere where they can preserve as much as themselves as they can. Verse 21 says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not seen. Salakia. I'll start again in verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So the things that we're going to see has never been seen in the earth before. All right, the things that are going to take place is no one can even tell you exactly of these things, because it hasn't taken place before. It's never been on earth before. All right, so it's going to be very perilous times. And I just wanted to take a look at this word tribulation. It is G2347.
Strong's G 2347. Thlipsis.
And under the biblical usage, it says pressing together, pressure. So it's going to be a lot of pressure coming on you. All right, at this time, there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be put you in that position where you feel a lot of pressure on you. All right, it's going to be a lot of affliction, and as you can see under the biblical usage, it says medav, or meaning it's going to be a lot of oppression, a lot of affliction, it says tribulation, but a lot of distress. All right, a lot of straits, meaning it's going to be a very narrow avenue for you to get through these times. Under the Strong's definition, it says pressure, afflicted, anguish. It's going to be a burdensome time. It's going to be persecution. Tribulation is going to be trouble. Thus the name Jacob's trouble. All right, and it won't be just Israelites that's going to go through this trouble. The whole world is going to suffer this trouble. All right, it's going to be a time of trouble never seen before. All right, and it's going to show you that at that time, the men of the Lord, because they're preparing for these times. All right, they're going to understand what to do and what things, what's going to take place at that time. So it's not going to catch these men off guard, even though no man knows exactly what time. But like I said, we're already seeing the beginnings of Jacob's trouble already. All right, but it's just going to get worse. All right, and it's going to be very important for a woman to have a covering. I mean, it's going to be a time there's going to be a lot of confusion and a lot of trouble brought on men. So just think how much more is going to be brought up on a woman with children who doesn't have a covering, a woman who doesn't have a man that's able to provide protection and provide guidance for what to do at these times. All right, a man is going to be very precious at this time. All right, especially the men of the Lord. I want to go over to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 13, and I'm going to go down to verse 12, and it says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And I wanted to take a look at this word Ophir. All right, so you can see that a man is going to be very precious at this time. All right, and it is H2:11, and it says Ophir, reducing to ashes. All right, I want to drop down to 1C. It says characteristic of fine gold. All right. So fine gold, and how do you purify gold? Gold has to be taken through the fire in order to burn off all its impurities. All right, and that's what you see the men of the Lord doing right now. They're preparing themselves. They have stepped out of the world and stepped away from all the comforts of the world. All right, and are afflicting themselves for this time because they want to be prepared. They want to be able to go through that fire, so that at that time of deliverance, the time of the day of the Lord, when Yahushua returns to destroy this place, that we'll be worthy of being saved out of it, having gone through the fire already. We're going through the fire right now. All right. It says under the Strong's definition, it says of uncertain derivation. It says Ophir, the name of the son of Joktan, and of gold region in the east Ophir. All right. Let me just take a look and see what it says in the NLT. It says, I will make people scarcer than gold, more rare than the fine gold of Ophir. All right. So a man is going to be very, very scarce. All right. Especially the men of the Lord. All right. So, man, even though you see the way that the Israelite man is being treated right now, and these times are coming, there's a handful of women who are already beginning to see that the Israelite man has not been treated right, and that there's just a handful that recognize that they need the covering, that they need to have a man. All right, you have a lot of women, especially Israelite women, who are saying they are independent, who don't need a man, but it's a handful of them that do recognize and do understand that you, in these days, in these coming times, you will need a man. All right, you will need a man to cover you, to take care of you, to help you bring you through these times. All right. Like I said, this is not going to be very long. I just have one other place that I wanted to go. I'm going to stay in the book of Isaiah, and I'm going to chapter 32. And this Jacob's trouble and these wars that are coming, all these things must happen. All these things must take place, all right? Because they're going to take us, they're going to build up. All right, and one thing I didn't mention is the MOTV. Even that's coming. That's knocking at the door right now. Even though everything is in place, the only thing that's lacking right now is that order that's going to say that is mandatory in order for you to be able to exist and navigate this planet. All right. I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 32. All right. And the reason all these things have to take place because that day of the Lord is quickly approaching. All right, and in that day, this place, this Babylon the Great, and other places around the world are going to be destroyed. All right, the ICBM missiles are coming. All right, the nuclear war is knocking at the door. All right, we are already seeing a lot of places that are engaged in war. It's just a matter of time before that first country lets go of that nuclear weapon, and once that happens, all countries who possess these weapons are going to let them fly. They're going to let them go because they're not holding on to them for nothing. They're holding on to them because they're going to be used. All right, and the Lord's going to put it in these leaders' minds and to use these weapons, to use these missiles. All right, because this is going to spark the day of the Lord. Isaiah 32. I'm going to start at verse 1, and you can see the heading says the glorious future. It says, "Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment." And who is that king? Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. It says, "A man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place." How important is a river of water in a dry place? "As the shadow of a great rock in a weary land." It says, "And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken." The heart, meaning the mind, also of the rest shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerers shall be ready to speak plainly. All right. I want to read that in the NLT. I'm going to read all of it in the NLT. It says, back at verse 1, it says, "Look, a righteous king is coming, and honest princes will rule under him." This is the governing body that's going to be in place after the return of Yahushai. It says, "Each one will be like a shelter from the wind and a refuge from the storm, like streams of water in the desert, and the shadow of a great rock and a parched land." So that's how important the men of the Lord are going to be. All right, they're going to be that governing body in the kingdom to come. It says, "Then everyone who has eyes will be able to see the truth, and everyone who has ears will be able to hear it." All right, so it's going to be undeniable who the governing body is, what kingdom is going to rule forever. It says, "Even the hotheads will be full of sense and understanding. Those who stammer will speak out plainly." All right, and this is the kingdom that's to come. This is going to be the governing body, the 144,000 men who are being brought up and being ready for this day of the Lord. All right, that's how important a man of the Lord is going to be when Jacob's trouble is fully into play. All right, but I'm going to leave it there, and I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, or HaKadosh. Shalom.